Christ's sake. My shark! My shark! You created a monkey.
Shut up.
You threw away 50,000 years of genetics to make that.
Well, bitch, you never did
You
nothing
dated
for
a
your
monkey.
country.
That's bestiality.
You didn't do
Bestiality.
I
Bestiality.
have a fucking degree from UT.
Yeah, and then you threw all your genetics away. Niggers have taken white America down to stupid ghetto talk like the way you're speaking now.
You don't even
You're speaking
understand
ebonics,
what
you
you're
dumb
speaking
white
for.
fake nigger. This isn't Halloween.
You dumb ass
Stop
fucking
acting like a
fake
fucking nigger.
German.
Disgusting. You're a racist.
No, you haven't ever been there.
Shut up, nigger lover. Shut up, you fucking nigger lover. Go fucking throw away.
That's what the fuck you should do.
You threw away your
Like all
womb.
these
You threw away your womb.
motherfuckers.
Yeah,
All
you had
these
sex with a
motherfuckers
nigger, you
that ain't
retard.
fucking
You fuck
nigger.
monkeys.
Where the fuck you from?
You have
Where
monkeys.
your DNA come from?
Europe.
Bitch,
Europe.
not that, because you couldn't even speak
Now
German.
your genes are
What the fuck are you talking about?
German.
You're lucky we're not violent.
Where's the father of that nasty thing?
It is your boy, the Mulatto Ronin, back on at it again with another banger and fire video for y'all's out there today. They're y'all. And guys, I gotta speak to all the white women and even other races of women out there, but primarily white women because y'all are the majority here in America. And if you choose the race mix with black men, coming from a racially ambiguous mulatto type of man, I think you need to have a good set down with the offspring, because if you choose to get in this relationship and you want to procreate, I want to see you guys have really good success. And I feel like the only way y'all can do that, y'all need to have a good set down with a light skinned type of man, you know, because listen, not all black is black in the black community. I'm letting you know that right now. Don't get me wrong. You're still going to get some acceptance as a racially ambiguous mulatto light skinned type of man, but a lot of black people are not going to see you as black. Don't get me wrong. They'll still kick it with you, but you just need to be aware of certain dynamics. And I do have my contact information up here. Like I threw it up there earlier. So if you need to contact me, you're confused, you're trying to figure out how on earth do you move so you can get success out here. And if you have a mixed race child, whether you're a single mother and you don't know how to really raise or try to put this child on game on how they should identify, also teaching them about their proper history. If you really want to know that, please reach out to me. But anyway, I'm trying to save you guys so you don't end up in a situation like this in that video, which is, I really pray that video is really AI. I really hope so. But if not, man, like that is just disgusting human behavior. You know, like, okay, like, yes, race mixing is, you know, controversial and everything, but, you know, like at times, even though it shouldn't be. And listen, if you're white, black, and you got people stepping out, race mixing, having children with other groups of people, first of all, we're in a multicultural country, you know, so that's the first thing. You know, you have all these different groups of people and you're telling me nobody's going to intermingle, you know, so kind of really don't make no sense. And then on top of that, you know, look at the dynamics of every community. You know, when it comes down to masculinity, when it comes down to carrying yourself well, you know, look around at your community and just see how they move and just the differences, you know, because I think that's very, very important. And even on top of that, spiritually, you know, emotionally, you know, understanding, empathy, these things matter. And when it comes down to different communities, it's very different, you know. Then on top of that, some communities, they want to see everybody win. Other communities are like, nah, fuck everybody. We care about ourselves, you know. So you got to keep that dynamic in mind as well. So, but I just want to see white women do better out here because this is horrible, you know, and this goes to show you this is the reality of, you know, a situation like this. The amount of hate, the amount of slander, especially in this day and age right now, the internet and social media, and seeing dynamics starting to change, people waking up out here, it's really frustrating and angering a lot of people. And you got some men out there feel like, hey, they're losing power and such. And the level of just scrutiny that these white dudes came and put on to that child out there, you know, like just really degrading her, like just really disgusting behavior. And I mean, listen, if that was me, if that was my child, oh no, we fighting. Nah, the police, everybody finna get it that day. I don't care. Because you don't do that to no kid. Okay, it's one thing for the woman, but you're gonna do that to a child? Like, that is very, very disgusting behavior. But so the main message of this video, you need to talk to a light-skinned, racially ambiguous mulatto type of man. Because white women, you need to understand, not all black is black. You know, when you have your mulatto type of child, they're not going to fully be accepted like that. You know, if you give that child to the black community and expect them to come out swinging, you know, flying colors and for success, it's not true. You know, because when you're light skinned, especially a man, you know, you're mixed. Depending on where you go, you're either going to have a good experience or you're going to have a very bad experience, you know, and even in a decent area, there's still just certain dynamics you have to really be aware of. So ideally, if you are going to race mix, I would honestly recommend you only do it with high caliber type of men, you know, high level status. That would make more sense, or at least just decent high earning. Because I think that's very, very important, because otherwise, you know, when you're trying to deal with the man that you want, the man that really ain't got his life fully all together, which it takes time for a lot of men. But if you're a woman that's a real one and you're trying to build and help somebody grow, oh yeah, you're fantastic, you know, but it's just a lot of things you just have to be aware about. And I feel like the best people that can really help you with this, and you're confused at how to go about raising these particular children, because listen, if you talk to the average black person, or even a lot of light-skinned people at times, not all of them, but it's a lot of confusion. One person may say one thing, another person may all say another thing. You need to really do what's going to work best for you, but I'm trying to set you up for success so you don't end up in a situation like that. And understand your community. I would sit down and, you know, ask them and be like, hey, you know, don't be direct about it, but just hypothetically, you know, hey, what do y'all think of certain situations? Just say, hey, I got a friend, she's out here race mixing with black men. What do y'all think of this? Like, and if you hear anything derogatory, you need to really keep that in mind, because especially if you got a family where you get like really good financial help and assistance, but you bring a mixed race child into the picture, that family is more than likely to cut you off and don't want to really fuck with you like that. And another thing too, when it comes down to the black community, don't get me wrong, you'll get a decent amount of acceptance. You know, you got your mixed race child, but at the same time, your child is still going to go through it, because especially as a man, man and woman going to go through it. But colorism, that's one thing you have to be aware of in the black community. So with colorism, a lot of black people automatically think just because you're lighter skinned, your life is going to be easier and, you know, more privileged. And that can be further from the truth. A lot of light skinned people go wrong by trying to prove themselves to the black community. It's like, nah, man, you're mixed. You know, you got a different like a whole extra ethnicities into you. And on top of that, you need to teach them about their history and how the mulatto class was a race, so they know exactly who they are. Some black people will get mad at you for saying, hey, make sure that they call themselves mulatto, you know, or biracial and everything. I call us the golden race people, you know. So you're light skinned and you have Afro type features, no matter is you're Blasian, mulatto, you know, wherever the case may be, you know, if you're mixed, because I'm seeing a lot more race mixing out here with black men out there, and we need our own class out here, because these kids, we can look on paper and look at them, you know, face to face and be like, they're just black. No, they move different, and their history was a race, and America is a very outdated system regarding race. And a lot of people are going to be like, well, race doesn't matter. Well, tell that to all the mixed people in terms of how they get treated, because you're not going to get fully accepted in the black community, especially as a light-skinned man. You know, like, listen, when, like, back in the day, man, before social media and all that, yeah, it was a good time for light-skinned men. But when social media hit, oh man, we got wrecked, you know. But don't get me wrong, like, yeah, you still pull 100%, you know, you still will have some success, but the amount of scrutiny on your name is just absolutely, like, horrendous. Like, I mean, like, America really wants this man buried, and then on top of that, the black community has destroyed the light skin, mixed race man image, and then on top of that, one of the things I had to learn too as a man, this really happened more when I got into the gym, start improving myself and, just being smart out here at how I do things. But I had to really learn that as I gotten older, no man, especially if the shade is different, like, because not all black is black, like not all black is black, like I said earlier, no black person wants a racially ambiguous mulatto light skinned type of man speaking and being the face of the black community, when the majority is dark skinned, like that's not a good look. And even black people have said, hey, we think the multi-generational, the biracials, the light skins, they need their own lane. They move different, and like I said before, if you know the history of America, and then on top of that, when the one drop rule came in, we see why certain dynamics are the way they are. I'm here to fix that. Now, one thing I do want to make clear, if you're going to take my word for it, understand you're going to offend a lot of people, a lot of black people, and even a lot of light-skinned people. They're going to be like, oh, no, I'm black. So take that with a grain of salt. I just need you to sit down and just get to know people. You as a white woman, before you get out there and go produce one of these kids, you need to really come to us and really get understand what you're getting into, and then you need to go talk to other black people and make your decision from there. You got to be very smart at when you come at this, because like I said before, I want to see you set up for success if you're going to do this, because just seeing from how derogatory a lot of white men can be when you're stepping out, especially you're coming to minorities, like black people, mulattoes, you're coming over here. If you're trying to come back, especially trying to get a decent man, especially after you have a mulatto child, that's going to be pretty tough to do. It's going to be very, very tough, so I just want to see you have success, because you have to move very smart. I don't want to see you be a single mother and left alone fending for your child. And you need to learn what the type of man that you need to look for and how the community works, how the dynamics work. Understand, like I said before, not all black is black. Mulattoes, racially ambiguous type people, they're in their own lane in society. And I'm fighting right now because I'm reaching out to organizations, as many people as I possibly can, because we need our class here in America, because there is a lot of race mixing going on. And I want to see proper representation. And we also need a full reclassification of the Black History Month, because it's really the Black and Golden Race History Month. A lot of these guys that you see, they're mixed, so mulattoes need to be properly represented, the golden race. And listen, it's a lot of people that's going to take offense to that, but it needs to be spot on. It needs to be true. And I'm saying this because in the black community, when it comes down to the light-skinned man, you're always going to hear a lot of times, oh, y'all not even in style no more. Think about what that does to a light-skinned man as he's growing up. Like you're hearing, you're not in style. Like, and then on top of that, why would I want to participate and call myself black when in the black community, it's not even socially acceptable? And even other communities, they're joining in on this shit. It's not even socially acceptable to give me any type of praise, any type of acknowledgement. You have to work 10 times harder as a light-skinned man to get any type of recognition, any type of I can't talk today, any type of love or whatever. You have to work 10 times harder to get noticed, in my opinion, if you're talking about with the black community. And I don't want you have to feel like as a light-skinned mulatto type of man, you need to prove yourself to anybody, because you don't. You're in your own lane, and that's okay. You need to know your history, and you need to try to rebuild within the light-skinned mulatto type of category. You're the golden race of people. And I'm saying this because I don't want to see the next generation of people that look like me confused and thinking they always have to prove something, just to fit in. I don't want to see that. And then on top of that, when it comes down to the woman, I understand why she moves the way she moves and why she tends to go more with the black community terms, because she's going to benefit a lot of times, you know. But at the same time, I'm seeing what she's got to go through, and I just don't like what I'm seeing, you know. And listen, I got nothing against, hey, if a light skinned woman excuse me, if a light skinned woman want to go be with a dark skinned man, I have no issue with that, you know. But I do have a problem when it's not even socially acceptable for you to even show the light skinned man love. That's where I have a problem, because now what you're telling me, okay, clearly the black community has something against me at times. Now, I don't hate the black community. I'm letting y'all know that right now. I got all love for the black community, even with all the fuckery that comes with it, because out of every community walking around, if there's anybody that's going to somewhat stick their neck up for me and go out their way for me, it's going to be them. And I think as racially ambiguous mulatto type of men, we should have that type of similar energy too, you know, because that's very, very important. And on top of that, another thing I got to point out, well, you know, guys, like I do acting, you know, so being an actor, I'll never forget my first acting role. A dark-skinned black woman, she put me on. She gave me an acting role when I first got started, you know. So like, guys, I could never be a man and a type of dude that would just completely turn his back on the black community. No, but I just want my own lane. And I know a lot of us racially ambiguous mulatto type of men and women, we need our own type of spotlight in our own lanes. That way we can really move on our own. But at the same time, we can still help one another, because we're seeing a lot more black men stepping out and are dating all these different races of women. Hey, here's the aftermath. Go talk to the racially ambiguous mulatto type of people, so that way there is no confusion. You know what to expect. You know how to properly raise these children correctly, so that way there is no problems. You know how to put them on game with history. You know how to tell them how to go for you know how to tell them how to go through school and how to even educate your teacher, you know, because your history was erased. And I think that's very, very important, because listen, there's a lot of black women, they are very envious towards a light-skinned woman, you know, like if you're light-skinned, and don't let you have that, like, it's a black community, like you call it, you know, the good hair, which I could never understood that. Like, as long as you look decent, got a decent face, decent body, like the hair, I mean, as long as it's braided, like I'm cool with an afro as well, you know, but it just depends on the woman, you know, like different hairstyles look better on different women. But in the black community, featureism is very important, you know, so if you have that loose curly hair, you're light skinned and you're a woman, you know, you're going to do pretty good with a lot of black men, you know, like, but a lot of dark skinned women, they ain't going to like that. They're going to feel some type of way, you know, and this is why a lot of them will say, hey, them light skins, they need their own lane. You know, knowing the history of America, they need their own lane like they did before. And that's very, very important. So it's a lot of things you just have to be cultured about if you're a white woman jumping into this. And I just want to see you guys do better out here, because the last thing I want to see is a single mom with a mixed race mulatto type of, you know, child. And they're just going through life confused, don't know what to do, bouncing around from different man to man, and don't really know what on earth to do. You know, like, you got to move smart out here, you know, and like I said before, I want to see the next generation do well. Like, you can't raise these children like any other type of children. Like, they don't fully fit in, they're not fully accepted. And the light-skinned man, he's fighting tooth and nail for his image on a regular basis here in America. And like I said before, America in general is really not the best place for these children. If you are going to have these children and you're a normal earner, you know, decent earner, both of the parents, I would stick more to, you know, Las Vegas, Colorado, West Coast type of area. That's what I would stick to preferably. But ideally, try to have these kids, you know, being really a high earner, or go raise them overseas, somewhere like South Africa. You know, like, they got their own class. They got the colored class over there. And it's not derogatory like over here, but the mixed race Afro people have their class in South Africa. I would consider putting them over there. you know, or even Europe, you know, like they get more respect over there, more love, you know. So like it's much more better places for these children than America, in my opinion. But this is just my word for it. You know, it just depends on what you're going for. Hey, if you want mediocre children, you don't really care the outcome, don't even take my advice. But if you want strong, sharp children, you want them to come out good, yeah, I would definitely recommend that you take my advice. But that's really all I gotta say. It's your boy, the Mulatto Ronin. Let me know what you guys think. And, you know, yeah, guys, like white women out there, just be smart, because these children can be very awesome, but understand there's a lot of scrutiny. There's a lot of hatred from everybody. And these kids, you know, they're going to have a different type of outlook compared to a black person or a white person or even a Hispanic, because, you know, they're really not taught to really have their own type of community, because there is a lot of race mixing going on. But we're not taught as light-skinned, racially ambiguous people to really stick together, you know, and really try to build, you know, and we're not properly told about our history, you know. So we walking around thinking all black is black, but here go black people saying, we don't really see y'all as black. Oh, nah, you white. And then come to the white people, they just see you as another black person at times, you know, not all, you know, because listen, like I said before, you know, a white person will still, if they say black, they're going to be like, well, what do you mix with? So that should tell you everything you need to know right there, you know. So just pay attention to stuff like that. But that's really all I got to say. It's your boy, the Mulatto Ronin. Like and subscribe, share. Let me know what you guys think. Y'all take it easy.